Hello creatives, it is Safa here from Traveling Brushes, and I am in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it is storming. We have had thunder and lightning and pouring down rain all day. The locals I've talked to have really been surprised with the storm. But I'm from Oregon, so it's rain, but it is quite a storm. So I'm here for a few days. I'm waiting for my friend Sandra to come. I am having a little bit of health issues, so I'll be traveling back to Oregon, and Sandra's coming to help me drive home with me and spell me in driving and keep me company and all of that. So as I'm waiting for her, sitting here in this storm, I've decided to do some sketching. I have been at Ghost Ranch, New Mexico, which is where Georgia O'Keeffe painted, and I've seen her house in Abacoa. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And I've also spent some time on Ghost Ranch and driven by her home and seen some of the gorgeous scenery that she saw and that she painted. And in the process of that, I have been dreaming, and I have a painting, acrylic painting that wants to come through. So I'm starting by doing some sketches. I went to Michael's today in the rainstorm and got some canvases, larger, being, I think they're 12 by 28, so bigger than 10 by 10 that I'll be working on. But I thought I'd share a little bit of my process with you. So hope you enjoyed this video, and welcome to Albuquerque. Good morning, creatives. This is Safa Nesbitt again from Traveling Brushes, and it is the next morning after the huge storm we've had in Albuquerque. The river has risen and it's flowing very brown and muddy, but it's supposed to rain and snow a little bit more today, so I'm hanging out and painting. As you can see, I have done a few sketches, and I'm using these 3 photographs that I took while at Ghost Ranch as my studies for this painting, as well as some of the things that I got while I was thinking about creating this painting. I call it Dreamtime, when I was in Dreamtime. So today I invite you to come with me as I begin this painting. I'm using intentional creativity, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as time goes on. So I've got my easel set up right here, and I'm using Neocolor 2s. One of my favorite play toys is Neocolor 2s. It's a water-soluble crayon. Be sure and get the 2 because the 1 is not water-soluble. Crayon d'Arche, although I'm sure I don't say that correctly. But the first thing in intentional creativity we do is we write an intention or a prayer or a thought on our canvas, and that's what I'm going to do with this. So this canvas has the intention of working with the ancient grandmothers of the desert, where I've been in the last couple weeks. And my intention or my prayers on this canvas say, "Grandmothers, bring your love and wisdom to this canvas as it is created. love Sepha. So that's how I start all my intentional creativity canvases, and this is pretty typical for intentional creativity. The next thing I'm going to do is give it a good squirt and a blessing, and then I'll start to paint. So that's what's next. Giving the canvas a good squirt. I like it nice and juicy when I start. And oftentimes in intentional creativity, we will start with 3 colors. So today I am starting with a manganese blue, Indian yellow, and quinacridone. Which quinacridone? Quinacridone burnt orange are the 3 colors I'm starting with. Mostly because these are the colors I saw in the landscape as I enjoyed my time at Ghost Range. So I kind of have an idea where I'm going with this. So some of these colors are going to be placed intentionally where I want them to be. And others will just kind of end up where they're supposed to be. Now I'm just doing early layers, and so I'm not really worried about having it perfect. That happens later on in the process. But I am starting right now with just adding some color to my canvas and putting a layer of paint on. Now you'll notice this is turning green, and that's perfectly okay. Like I say, this is early layers, and lots going to happen to this canvas before I'm done. But I want to honor the sky with the blue, and the yellow I'm honoring the stone people, the rocks that I saw that were so gorgeously gold, and oh my gosh, so many colors. There were golds and blues and purples, and oh my, I didn't know rocks, hillsides, whole hillsides could be such glorious colors. So again, I'm just putting down base layers, conditioning the canvas, thinking about my intention of grandmother's wisdom, and kind of letting the colors just play together a little bit. These are kind of deserty colors. Even the sagey green are good deserty colors. Okay, here's my 3rd color, the quinacridone orange. And I'm going to do my brush strokes a little different with this color, just because the rocks were standing, and I want the grandmothers to stand. So I'm using that as a metaphor right now for the grandmothers that I want to work with me. Oftentimes we have knowledge we don't even understand that we have. And that's what we're accessing with intentional creativity, is that deep knowledge that oftentimes gets lost in our day-to-day journeys, in our cooking and cleaning and taking care of people and doing our jobs and everything that happens. So this is taking a time to honor my ancestors, the ancestors of the land, and their knowledge. I'm also taking a minute to do the edge of my canvas. I often forget that, but I am doing, I call it the lingerie. So I'm just putting a little bit of paint around the edge. I could do the bottom just yet, but adding a little paint here and there around the edge of my canvas to give it a finished look. I have several that I hang on the wall, and I notice I forgot to do the edges, so they're all white, or there's a streak of a little bit of color on it, and mostly white. So I try to take time to do those edges as I'm working it early. Then I don't have to think about it. Then if paint gets slopped, that's perfect. So you'll notice some glorious drips happening. I'm going to give it a little bit more water and let those drips happen. My puppy's under my easel, so he might come out with lots of colors today too. So there's the beginning of my canvas. I'm going to let it drip for a bit and enjoy those drips and what's happening there. You're going to get wet, bud. I'm letting the drips run here and there. Enjoying watching them. This will add texture to the rocks and the sky and the plants, whatever else wants to happen here. Sometimes I have an idea and it ends up being totally different from my original idea. And that's perfect, because oftentimes when you're doing this work, it's about what wants to happen rather than what you want to happen. So let's see what's going to happen here. Alright, so I blocked my rocks in. The ancestors is how I see them. I blocked the rocks in, very similar to what I saw, a few changes. But the next thing I'm going to do is work on some foreground here. And I'm going to continue to develop my vision that I saw. So right now I've got my rocks done, and the background you can still see. I'm going to leave some of the places showing through from my background that I had my original layer, but I'm going to continue to build. So that's where I'm at right now. So one of the things I'm doing here is every time I come onto my palette, which you can't see, I'm grabbing another color and adding it in at least 3 places on my canvas. That helps your eye move around, and it also helps the continuity of your canvas. So I have added some dark colors now, and I'm gonna put some greens at the bottom and continue to play. I have Indian yellow and that manganese I'm using for my green right now. And I had some anthracenoid blue and Van Dyke brown that I used for some of this dark, along with whatever was on my palette. So I'm still in the blocking phase, just kind of getting my colors in there. It'll change, but I want to at least get a start on where I'm going with this. Whoops! He's jumping off the easel. My paintings have a tendency to do that. The one I did when I was in Bend ended up with all kinds of pumice rock in it because it kept jumping off. And she turned out pretty cool. So I'm in my casita today, enjoying the rain outside, although it's quit raining now, but it's still cold, cold, cold. And filled my propane bottles, so I'm ready for another chill night in the desert. So that's where I'm at right now.